Okay. So here are the slides for week 1. Most weeks there won't be so many slides, but since this is an introductory week, I wanted to give you a solid background about what is yoga and why do we practice it. So whether you're new to yoga or if you've practiced before, it's good to refresh your comprehension of what yoga is truly and why it is we practice, what we're hoping to get from it, because it can look like a lot of things. So I guess I'll start with the picture that I put here. So I tried to find a picture of someone practicing yoga, where the focus is on the person's experience. So yoga is a practice where you look internally. There are physical practices that you do. But I noted here, yoga is about connecting with yourself. It's not about the scenery. It's not about taking a picture of your practice. It's not about your outfit. It's not exercise. So yoga the word yoga means to unite. It means to unite your mind with your body and with your spirit, with yourself. So it's an internal practice, and it's done to benefit yourself and also therefore to benefit how you interact with your surroundings and how you move forward in your life. So it's about yourself, but it's not a selfish practice. It benefits you, and then therefore it benefits everything that you do. Yoga is a lifestyle. There is such a thing as a yoga class where you come and you do certain practices, but you can adopt a yogic lifestyle, and we'll talk about what that means. It can mean everything from, how you eat to how you think to your values. And you can only cover so much in an intro yoga course, but this is week 1 where we kind of get the big picture of what is yoga. So it can be described in many ways. So the goals of yoga are to unite your mind with your body and your spirit. It can be described as experiencing oneness and harmony. So you're uniting, all aspects of your body and your existence, and also yourself with your surroundings. Yoga can be described as a remedy for a steady and peaceful mind. The mind is a big thing in yoga. We will go over that certain yoga practices start by training your mind, and then therefore with a kind of a disciplined and under control mind, your body, the health of your body will follow, and the health of your social interactions will follow. Other yoga practices like Hatha yoga, which is the most popular, starts by moving the body and moving the energy within your body in order to develop a peaceful and healthy mind. Yoga can be a pathway to self-realization. So you explore yourself and you get to know yourself, and you kind of self-actualize as a result. So for yoga, balance is required, and being close to nature can be part of that. So being close to nature encourages harmony and encourages peace. So that's encouraged as part of yoga. It's not required, but yoga, it is more than just the internal experience. It's beginning with an internal experience and then connecting to all of the universe, actually, as we will discuss. It's a big statement. So I'll have little pop-ups here. In Sanskrit, mana means mind, and prashmana means perfectly peaceful. So one description of yoga is a perfectly peaceful mind. So mana prashmana. Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras many, many, many years ago, dating back to 500 BC, he described yoga as a technique to control the mind, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, and the conditionings of the mind. This description, argues that I think a really good story that I heard when I was at the ashram that helps to describe it is the mind is driving a chariot that's led by 5 horses. And the 5 horses are your 5 senses. So without training the mind to control the 5 senses, each of those horses, each of those 5 senses is going to pull whichever direction it feels like. So you can easily be distracted by something you see, something you hear, something you feel, something you taste, whatever the five senses are. Now I'm distracted, sorry. So the person driving the chariot is the mind. And if you can control your mind, you can tell your five senses, where to go. Or you can tell them not to interrupt you. You can have a peaceful mind. So you're the driver of the chariot in yoga. And we practice learning how to control the mind or how to discipline the mind. And an important note there is it's not forcing your mind to shut off. It's not forcing your thoughts not to occur. It's more delicate than that. So your thoughts will come and go and your mind will get distracted. But the concept in yoga is, not to sound corny, but let your thoughts come and pass you by like a cloud in the sky. And there I rhymed for you too. So really, like a thought will come up and you observe it, that's fine, and let it drift by. Let it go and maintain that peaceful mind like the blue sky. Another way of describing it is like a pond, a very still pond. And dropping a pebble in the pond will make ripples. We can't stop those ripples. We can't stop the pebble from falling into the pond, but we can let those ripples pass and we can let the pond remain still rather than getting all disturbed and, causing waves. Yoga is very philosophical and we can go on and on about this, but the concept is a still and peaceful mind. So our Sanskrit lesson is the mind. The word for the mind is chitta, and thoughts are vritti. So thoughts are like those ripples on a pond, and we want to let them pass by. We want to not be, like a dog running after a rabbit to every thought. We want to let them pass so that the mind can remain still, like a blue sky or like a still pond. Like the driver of the chariot is in charge of the five horses. And in Sanskrit, the word control is nirodha. So another description of yoga comes from the Bhagavad Gita. This book describes, like I said, an intro video, yoga psychology. So kind of like the overall meaning of what yoga is. So an equilibrium of the mind to remain balanced no matter what's going on around you. It describes yoga as perfect action. That's another big statement. So again, what that's getting at is if we're present and aware, mindfulness can come into this. So we are intentionally choosing what we do. We're driving the chariot, our mind is in charge. We are not getting pulled everywhere by the stimulation in our life, by the various things going on around us. We are the leader. And this is a picture from the Bhagavad Gita, or, a representation of that famous old story from the 1st or 2nd century. So in Sanskrit, a balanced state is samatva. And karma, you probably have heard that word, is an action or a behavior. And kashalam, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, means perfect. So perfect action, a balanced state, samatva. So in yoga, we're seeking balance, and we're going to see that word a lot. As you can imagine, a lot of yoga poses require balance and encourage balance, but we're not just seeking physical balance. That's actually more of a representation of what we're seeking internally. We're seeking balance of all sorts of things, of our energies, of our right and left brain, of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, as we'll see. So types of yoga. I've already had a message from one student, that they're surprised there are so many very different types of yoga. And yes, that is surprising because we don't see them like taught in the West so much. It's mostly the popular yoga classes we see are mostly a mix of Ashtanga and Hatha. And well, that's because, they're unique and they're accessible and they have strong effects. So Ashtanga yoga, as described by the Patanjali Yoga Sutras that we saw in the last slide, is the focus. The focus is on disciplining the mind. So we start by, again, like the driver of the chariot, we're disciplining the mind, and the health of the body follows, and the health of our various interactions and the successes in our life follow. And Ashtanga yoga has 8 limbs, which we'll see on the next slide. various practices that go along with those. Hatha yoga, which is described originally in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which came along actually many, many, many years after Ashtanga Yoga. And it takes on some of the same, it's composed of some of the same practices as just Ashtanga Yoga. It focuses on disciplining the body, the physical body, as well as the energy of the body. And therefore, a clear mind can follow. I think I'm going to pause this recording for a second.